All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We're trying this again. It's episode 12 of the Raw Intuition Health Show. Great to have you all with us. If you could just leave a message in the chat box, I just want to make sure you guys are actually seeing us. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. We're going to be joined by my amazing friend, Nicole R'Shae Holliday. Again, if you missed the first intro, she is an amazing actor or actress, sorry. And she's a 13-year plant-based influencer. So she knows what she's talking about when it comes to this lifestyle. And yeah, she's just an amazing person that I think has a lot of valuable information to share. If you don't know who she is, definitely click the links in the description box down below and you can go follow her. And we are going to bring her on here. What is up, Nicole?
Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Hey, so
Hey,
great to
everybody.
have you. Yes. Yeah, if anybody
Thanks for
missed it
having
earlier.
me.
What's that?
Thanks for having me.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. It's been long overdue. So it's great to have you on the show. And yeah, I'm still looking for somebody to just comment in the chat box to make sure that they can, you know, make sure we're not just sitting here by ourselves, but
to make sure to make sure we're heard.
yeah.
So you're live on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, do you
So
see
if
it
I
up?
go to your YouTube channel on my other device, I should be able to see if we're able to hear each other.
Yeah, it should be up.
I didn't think about that till just now. Like I can would you like me to see if we can hear if I can Oh,
Oh, you
there
can see
we are.
us. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
There
Look.
there it is. Look at that.
Now let me see if I can hear us.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, I can hear us.
All
Good.
right, sweet. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I usually there's I don't know, this new chat thing is kind of I don't know if it's working or not, but hopefully everybody can hear us
I think
and
I
hope
think it's working.
can you leave a comment in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if it pops up
I
on
s
my stream here.
Did it pop up?
Nothing yet. Oh,
Really? I just
oh,
sent
yeah, I just
2
okay.
things.
Yep, there we go. There we go. We're
It
good.
says and then somebody says Monster Man says "Ayo."
Oh,
AYO.
oh yes. Okay, perfect. Yep, I'm seeing them come through now.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, what's up, Music Monster Man? Great to see you. All right,
Hey.
guys. Yes, sorry for the delay. There seems to always be some sort of technical issue going on, but one of these weeks we're gonna get it where it's just completely smooth and
Per
crispy.
perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, again, guys, today we're going to be talking about finding balance on your path to long term success, whether it's with your lifestyle or whatever other goals that you have. And Nicole, again, has been on this path for 13 years. And so, yeah, we're just going to kind of have a discussion about, what we have found to be useful and helpful in helping us to maintain balance and long-term success. So, yeah. So, everybody, I hope you're ready for a great show. All right,
Yeah.
Nicole, do you want to kind of start us off with your like what's something that comes to mind when it comes to like how have you found balance to succeed on this lifestyle as long as you have?
I would say just like by not going to extremes and doing things that are just not sustainable.
Yeah.
Um, like for instance, I love the lifestyle of raw plant-based, like fully raw. I admire everyone, and that's how I came across you years ago.
Yep.
Been watching your channel for years, and a lot of other people like Lissa and Nate and everybody that
Yeah.
eats raw, right? I admire the lifestyle, and you know, like my goal or a desire was always to eat fully raw. So there was times where I would do that for maybe it might have been for a purpose of cleansing or or healing or something, but the mindset was like, oh, I want to keep doing this, but it just never sticks, right?
Hmm.
And then I would end up going back to cook foods and stuff. But then I started thinking to myself, that's okay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's okay. Maybe I'm just not the person that is meant to be fully raw long term forever,
Yeah.
and that's okay. So what is a good balance for me is eating high raw. So I eat a lot of raw. I'm gonna just throw a number out there, maybe 80%, maybe 75 to 80% raw. And then I eat my cooked foods and that's fine. It's okay. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like it's like I get the benefits and the good feeling of eating all this raw food. But if I want to eat cooked, if I go out to eat with friends, and I don't want to just eat a salad when I'm out to dinner with them. Maybe I want something else. I could do that, and there's no rules.
Yeah.
It's like we're the boss of ourselves. We could do what we want to do.
Yep.
And yes, maybe at some point I did want to have a fully raw lifestyle, but just over time, I realized that that just doesn't work for me to do 100%. I could do it like a 44 days, 30 days, like for cleansing purpose, but it's not meant for me to be fully raw. It's just not, and that's okay. It's a good balance for me. Like I said, I eat a lot of raw, and then I'll have like some cooked stuff sometimes. Like maybe I'll have some air fried potatoes with the salad. Maybe I'll have some beans, rice, and some vegetables. You know what I mean? Like, and it just works for me, and it's something I can sustain. That is sustainable for me long term. Like now, there's times where I'm a big believer in listening to your body, so I do what it tells me. So there's some times where it does say I just want all raw foods, and I'll do that until I don't want to do it anymore.
Hmm.
Okay, and then there's times where, like, I don't know, certain seasons, I don't know when that is. I can't pinpoint the time frame, but it will start wanting like more potatoes and beans and rice and stuff.
Hmm.
And then I give my body that because that's what it's saying it wants. I'm not gonna like force myself to eat the opposite of what my body is calling for. It's not that serious. Just do what you do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So, and then there's sometimes where it's just like I want all fruit. I'm now that I only do a couple of days. I can't do that long, but like sometimes it's just like I just want all fruit. I'll do like the longest I've done was 5 days.
It's not bad.
That's nothing compared to a lot of people do the 30 days and all that. But so I'm a big avid believer in listening to your body, doing something that's sustainable and not beating yourself up. I see a lot of YouTube videos and Instagram videos of people that are like, oh, I've been eating raw for XYZ and I fell off the wagon. No, you didn't fall off the wagon. You just made a decision to eat some cooked foods, and that's okay. And if your desire is to eat fully raw and you ate those cooked foods, then just the next day, just get back onto what you want to do. It's
Yeah.
there's no failure in it. There's no falling off the wagon. I messed up. No, it's not. It's just you chose to do something different than you normally would want to do. But there's no wrong in that. There's no negative. It's not negative. It's okay.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, so that's kind of my stance on it. Like
Hmm.
it just and I'll comment on people when they say that. I'm like, no, you didn't mess up, you didn't cheat. And there's no cheating, okay?
Right.
There's no cheating. You just made a decision to do something different. It's not a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to start the show, and I think and that's another reason why I was excited to have you on because it's so relatable. Like that message is relatable. People, see everybody seemingly being perfect online and on social media, and they get this guilt about eating whole plant foods
Yeah.
with if
Yeah.
they're cooked, and so I really, yeah, hope that people will kind of get away from that mindset of feeling guilty for eating whole plant foods that are very healthy foods,
Yeah.
And like you said, if you can do raw sustainably, that's perfect. I think that,
Yeah.
everybody is going to have a different level that is sustainable for them. And so each of us has to find what that is for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm the exact same way. I'm in Minnesota and I have gone years, just being raw, but I've also implemented some flexibility in that over the last few years, and that works for me as well. So I think
Right.
it's really just about finding what works for you at the time and being flexible. And that's why, in my book, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So I'll be giving away a copy of 21 Day Raw Transformation
Oh,
Program, the ebook,
oh, that's
to somebody that asks a question in the comments box today, and in the Q&A session. And so in that book is where I put the traffic light system, which I think can be very helpful for people to get away from that guilt and that like really, that I call it, what I'm starting to call it is the tightrope of compliance, where there's people that get in the mindset of like their ideal is um, just eating fruit and tender leafy greens, right? So that's like people's ideal that they think is like the optimal diet. And so they'll try and stick with that. And that, to me, for most people in the society and culture that we live in, is like it's like you have such a tiny, it's like a tightrope, like you're a trapeze
yeah,
artist, you're walking across a tightrope, and any slight breeze, any thing that comes out of your routine, you get stressed or you have to travel or a birthday party or something, and that's like the wind that just can just topple you off your path so easily, right? If you only have fruits and tender leafy greens, um, and if you can do that sustainably and you can balance on that tightrope, then more power to you. Like stick with that. But for
yeah,
most people that, over the last 12 plus years that I've been doing this, I've just learned to embrace a little bit more flexibility for various reasons. One, because it's I've noticed that it's very, very difficult for most people to stick to 100% raw. And
yeah,
so I would much rather see people find a sustainable compromise, if you want to call it that, or just something that works for them, they can do easily and do it long term, right? Because
right,
we're not going to do something long term if it's really difficult, we're
right.
just, it's going to burn us out.
You
And
shouldn't
so,
torture yourself.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And so the way I kind of am starting to explain it is, you can either walk that tightrope of compliance, or if you want to widen your pathway, I encourage people to, design their traffic light system where you've got your green light foods, which is all the raw, fresh fruits and vegetables. And then your yellow light foods are your support foods when you need them. And that can be your either, it can be basically it's whole plant foods that are usually limited a little more in quantity that you consume them. So it'd be like fats, like nuts and seeds and
Oh yeah,
avocados. You would keep
yeah.
that a little bit lower, and then also cooked starches and beans and lentils and things like that. And so these can just be supporting foods to your green light foods, which are the raw, fresh whole plant foods, and you don't have to feel guilty about
No,
including those, because it's just a way to stick with your whole plant food diet and still focusing on raw. You're still getting in all that good raw nutrition, but you're gonna
yeah,
use that kind of like, it's almost like guardrails. When you're walking across that tightrope, you've got guardrails that you can hold on to, and
yeah,
any wind isn't going to blow you off so easy because you've got that support. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I try and help people to do, is to just clarify your green light foods, your yellow light foods, and your red light foods, the foods that you don't want to
yeah.
consume.
That's
And
good.
and yeah, I think that can be helpful for people.
Yep. There's so many great options out there and so many great healthy options. And like
Yeah.
I said, even eating high raw is still so beneficial and so um great for your body. It can still heal your body. It can still make you feel great. You can still have that mental clarity that everybody talks about when they go raw.
Yes.
You know what
Yes.
I mean? Um, and just I don't know, just you thrive. I mean,
Yep.
it's still a great way to go. If you are one of those people that just can't seem to stick to fully raw full time, maybe that's a sign that says that it's not meant for you to do that.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of cooked foods here and there, those different, what'd you say, red lights and green lights and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what
Yellow
I
light.
mean? Add that in there and see how you feel. Maybe a couple of meals a week that are cooked,
Yep.
um, and I think it's really still rewarding.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I I don't want to be a broken record, but I talk about this when this subject comes up, and we can look at, okay, I'm just not seeing the 100% pure raw foodist outlive just the whole food plant-based eaters that eat
Mhm,
raw and cooked. I'm not,
mhm.
I'm just not seeing the like extreme level of, they're not surpassing the average whole food plant-based, um, healthy eater. So, that's why I don't stick, like, I'm not like a zealot to the raw food thing when I
Yeah,
totally believe in raw food. Like, that is always going to be the foundation of my diet. But, um, I think we get a little lost in, our ideals, and we don't necessarily look at the reality of everything and how, diet's just one aspect. And so we need to take into account everything else that plays into a long, healthy life. And what's up, Jung Soo? So good to see you. I'm glad you're missing
hey,
some
Shanti.
shut eye for us. Um, so yeah, did so I've got another thing that I was gonna bring up was, with the balance and even getting outside of, the diet aspect, um, becoming aware of, the balance that you have between what you feel is optimal and how much you compromise or accommodate others in your life. So how much you um, do what you feel is optimal for yourself versus, how much you people please, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing where that can weigh us down and cause us to burn out if we're getting, on either side of that. So whether you only do, you kind of shut people out if they're not totally in alignment with what you believe or how you want to do things. Only doing, kind of being, I guess you could say, selfish. Now, I mean, I think it's great to do what you want to, do what you feel is best for you. I think that's always a great thing. But at the same time, doing it in a way where you're not isolating yourself or alienating others and, keeping a balance between doing what's best for you and
Mhm.
also, understanding where other people are coming from and doing your best to, you know, make life work with others that, obviously if you're living even a whole food plant-based diet, but especially a raw vegan diet, you're gonna clash probably with a few people that you're, living around, because it's just such a different lifestyle than most people are used to. And so yeah, I think finding balance between people pleasing and, just, I see some people that will go back to their old lifestyle because they just want to make others happy, and, they just want to fit in. And I think if,
Yeah.
if you get into that, I think that's going to lead you to an unhappy result. But if you focus only on yourself and only on your ideals, you're going to isolate yourself, and that probably won't lead to the greatest quality of life going forward either. So it's finding that balance between
Yeah.
what's best for you and how you can interact with others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I feel like it's totally doable. So, for instance, I'll give an example of like somebody who wants to continue their raw ways versus someone who's just wants whole food plant based.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like if you're a person that's on that raw plant based lifestyle and you're going to someone's house or some function and you want to maintain that, but you still want to go to be able to socialize and hang out with people, like whether it's a holiday or a birthday party and everybody, they're bringing food there. Bring what you want to eat there, but bring enough to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That way you're able to stick to what you want to stick to, but you're also offering it to other people. So that you could still be there in the midst of the socialization and hanging out and not feel all awkward and everything. You just eat what you eat and bring enough to share. And if you're a regular plant-based eater that eats cooked food, same thing. Like for instance, I do eat high raw, but I'll say that on holidays, I'm not really thinking about raw. More so like just cook foods on the holidays, right? So
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving a few years back, for instance, I went to this restaurant because I'm lazy. I don't want to cook. So I went to this vegan restaurant and I got like black eyed peas and rice, yams and greens. It's a vegan restaurant, and I got like enough to share. So
Mm.
even though hardly anybody ate it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but I brought it there so that I can stick to what I want to eat, but still feel like I'm part of everything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
And I brought enough to share. And same thing, like if you go out to restaurants, same thing. Like, yesterday I wanted to eat like a mostly raw day. So I went to lunch with my sister and mom at a Mexican restaurant, and I didn't want to get the delicious vegan flautas that I normally would get there, but I got a salad, because that's just what I wanted yesterday. I wanted something fresh, and they ate whatever they ate, and I ate what I ate, and it was all good. We're still socializing, spending time together. I wasn't feeling awkward. I wasn't feeling all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had to please anyone. It was just do you, boo. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like do what order what you want to order. And if you don't want to order something at the restaurant, eat before you go so you can feel satiated. And it's just about the social aspect of it, just going there to hang out, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so many ways to work around it, so many ways to make it work. It's totally doable, and you could please yourself and please others. But shouldn't really worry about pleasing others, though. It's just let's
Yeah.
just please ourselves, and then everything else will fall in place.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Um, and I was gonna say, just quickly touching back on when you had said that, maybe you're not the person that's gonna be 100% raw. I would just add at that point, right? So
At
I
that
think,
point, right?
yeah. So I think we should always leave it open, um,
Yeah, true
to
that.
yeah, because I think we go through ebbs and flows, and maybe
Yeah,
right now it's not going to work, and then maybe this time next year maybe you want to try it for a little while, and,
yeah,
and you can always
yeah,
switch back and forth. Like, again, it's not like you get a golden star or an award for
yeah. There's no contract. You could do whatever you
yeah,
want to do. You know
yes,
what I mean?
yep,
Yeah, that's true. I
yeah,
like that. That's a better way to say it. Like maybe this is just not your time right now, but
right,
who knows what the future holds, you know?
yep, yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's definitely right. Thanks for saying
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, of course. um Yeah, and then I guess one other thing that I would say would be, creating balance between how much weight you put on your own thoughts and your own beliefs versus, taking in the ideas of others and research and all these things. Because I do see, a lot of people that rely only on their own beliefs and their own opinions, and they don't really do much research or listen to other people, that have been successful in this for a long time, and so they only take into account what they think at the time. And then there's other people who rely like almost solely on the research and what a study will say. And so that's kind of how they drive their decision making. And so I think finding a balance between those two things is also going to be super helpful in allowing you to create a long, sustainable, healthy diet and lifestyle for yourself. Because I do think using your own intuition and your own, experience and your own critical thinking is like the foundation of what we should all be following, right? We should all just follow what really resonates and what seems to be true. But then also at the same time, bringing in, doing some research and listening to other, people that have been successful or other experts and things, and incorporating some of that. You don't have, you can take some and leave some, leave the rest. Like I always say, 80/20 is kind of my rule with
Yeah,
learning from anybody. I never, I can't think of any one person that I agree 100% with everything they say. And so usually it's, there's like 10 or 20% of what they say that I don't really align with, but everything else I think is great. And so I take the
yeah,
80% and then I just, don't incorporate the other 20. And so using your intuition, using, everything, all the, resources that we have around us to guide us in fine tuning what we believe and what knowledge we have, I think is a great way to go with, instead of just relying on your own, what you think, or what a study says. So what do you think about
Yeah.
that?
I mean, it's just kind of like, there's like so many things I've learned from watching YouTube or reading things on Google and things like that. Especially things that are like, don't do this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give an example of like, I've heard this repeatedly, like only eat watermelon by itself, or don't
Right.
eat fruit after 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, things like that. Like there's a lot of things I take heed to that I learn, but there's some things that if I feel okay when I do it, I'm okay to do it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like I feel like listen to your body. Like for instance, the I do usually do the watermelon only by itself, but
Mm-hmm.
there's times where if I'm at an event and they don't have anything else I can eat and there's only watermelon and grapes and strawberries, I'm going to eat all those different fruits together because I need to get full somehow, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to eat
Yeah.
them all together. And it's okay because I didn't die afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like some people say don't eat fruit after you've eaten carbs in the day
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And there's like reasons, but I've done it before. I've done it countless times and I feel okay when I do it. And it all comes out the next morning anyway. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yes.
yes, I do. There's a balance. There's things I learn and um, I research and I find out and I really take heed to it big time. But then there's some things I learn that I might do the opposite because it it feels okay for my body and it feels okay for me. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's there once again, like you said, balance. It's like some things you're gonna learn and you're gonna stick to that because it needs to be stuck to. And then there's some things that like you gotta listen to your body. Like, do you feel horrible when you do that? Like, does it cause ailments? Does it? And if not, like like the and fruit in the evening thing, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I feel fine. I've never had any problems. I haven't had any, uh, I just haven't had any problems. And it all comes out the next day anyway, because I know they talk about the fermentation in the stomach and stuff. But I'm like, well, it came out the next morning. So
Right.
there's nothing left to ferment. No. But, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you, though. You're going to take heed to some things, and some things you're just going to do what's best for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think bringing up the food combining issue is perfect. Like that's such a good example because I agree. I do the same thing. I usually almost always will eat watermelon on its own, but if it is like in a fruit salad or something, if I'm somewhere that, that I'm eating, then yeah, I'll have that. And I have the exact same experience where, you can kind of break some of these rules and you're still
Yeah,
completely fine. Like you don't
yeah,
have like a huge issue with your digestion or anything. So yeah, I think that it just goes to show you got to test some of these things out on your own and make up your own decisions. Make up your own mind and just move forward. So
yeah. There's one more that is a big one for me, like,
yeah.
and Lissa says this a lot about not mixing and I've heard this just in other videos and other research and stuff, but mixing fat with fruits. Now,
Yeah.
I don't do it all the time, but sometimes a girl wants some peanut butter in her ice cream. Like
There
it
you
just
go.
adds a delicious flavor.
Yeah.
And I'm okay after I eat it. I'm okay several days later, but maybe you shouldn't do it all the time because, something about the sugar, your blood sugar or something.
Yeah.
I'm not, don't get me to quoting, but
Yeah.
it's
No,
not good.
that's right.
Something about, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But every now and then, I'll just put like 1 tablespoon in there in my ice cream
Yeah.
or almond butter, and it just it just adds this wonderful taste. But I feel
Yeah.
fine afterwards and days later, and my
Yep.
my blood work always comes back okay when I get my blood work checked at the doctor. So
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So do you and I do the same thing. I put dates in my nut or seed based salad dressing. So
Yeah.
and I have good blood work as well, and my blood sugar is perfect. So yeah,
Mhm.
no issues. But
Yeah.
yeah, do you get blood work often? Like how what have been some of the things you've learned over the last 13 years about like what I guess, do you get blood work often? And then what are some of the benefits that you've received doing this lifestyle?
I would say I probably do it like once a year.
Okay.
Once a year. So, I have had 2 times in the long ago days, not long time ago, 2 times my vitamin D came back low.
Okay.
And so then I just started supplementing. I supplement with a food-based
Mm,
vegan supplement for vitamin D, and it actually has calcium and magnesium in it too. It's like a 3-in-1.
okay.
But I started taking that years ago, and every time I go back, my vitamin D is fine. I'm still getting vitamin D from the sun and like maybe from almond milk and things like that, but it's
Hmm.
not enough
Right.
to, you know what I mean? So I had to kind of fill in the gaps. But it's a food-based supplement as opposed to just the fillers, those filler vitamins. So
Yep.
I like it. You get it from Whole Foods, you can get it on Amazon. It's cheaper on Amazon.
Mm,
But yeah, and so that's the only thing I've ever been low in, and that was a long time ago. But everything else always comes back okay. Even my B12, even my B6, even
hmm.
my protein, even just everything else has always been fine.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm getting enough nutrition, people. No.
Yeah.
Everybody says we don't get enough nutrition on our diets. Well, guess what? My blood work and my health say otherwise.
Yes.
um, but yeah, and the benefits, I would say, let's see. I'm gonna just go back to the beginning because I've been eating this way for 13 years.
Okay.
So my body is used to it now. So now things I have to go up a notch if I have any issues. Like I
Hmm.
have to go up to raw vegan cleanse or something if some but back then the benefit when I first started was healing because I had this big flare up from an injury I had, and I was just in chronic pain from hands, wrists up to my neck and shoulders, and then it would go in my face, but the face was like more of a sensation, numbness, almost feeling, and then the pain in my neck, shoulders down to my hands was like just it was chronic pain, just miserable, you feeling depressed about it all the time and crying. And then my friend and I had a conversation about, removing animal products from your diet can really help your body heal itself. Next day, bam, I was plant based. I didn't think about it. I didn't transition. I didn't slowly walk into it. It was like overnight, cold veggie. Um, I went cold veggie,
Nice.
and I would say about a month later, I was feeling much better. The flare up flared down, and I just stuck with it. So that was one. Healing was one of the benefits. At the time, I'm bigger than I was back then, but at the time, I was a certain amount of weight, and I only lost 6 pounds, but that was all I needed to lose at that time
Hmm.
because I wasn't out, for my health and height and all that stuff, what I needed to be, I wasn't that far from it. So I only lost like 6 pounds.
Okay.
And but it was good. I needed to lose that. So I lost 6 pounds, weight loss. I felt great. You know, I just didn't feel cluttered. I just felt free. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I made a video yesterday about energy. I said I already have and always had a lot of energy. So it increased just a little bit. I didn't, I'm already, I've always been like this. I don't know, just natural. But so the energy increased a little bit, but not a lot because I already had, it was like, I was already almost at the max. So it couldn't go much, any
Yeah.
higher. But let me think what else. And some people would comment on my skin. I thought I already had good skin, but some people would say, "You look you're glowing,"
You are.
So I guess so those were the benefits when I first went plant-based 13 years ago. Now, over the years, I've been eating this way so long that my body's used to it. So sometimes there's things that might come up and just eating plant-based that didn't prevent it, right? So if I have something, I go fully raw to help heal it, and it's worked, many times. But I still feel great eating this way. I just feel good in my body. I feel light, especially if I'm not, especially now. Pat on the back, because the last 6 years I was drinking coffee almost every day with non-dairy creamer, which has 5 grams of added sugar per tablespoon. And I
Mm.
was doing 3 tablespoons. And I mean, I would take breaks sometimes if I did a cleanse, but I was basically drinking that every day for 6 years. And my body got addicted to it, even though my reason for drinking it was only because I like the taste with my creamer. I literally, that's the only reason, not for energy, not
Hmm.
to wake up, not to function. It was just the taste. But my body got addicted to it. So my point in bringing this is I'm feeling good even more now that I have eliminated coffee and that creamer out of. I'm 7 weeks sober of caffeine and coffee.
Congrats. All right. Nice.
So like now I feel even better. Like because the last 6 years I feel good eating plant based, but that kind of putting that in your body every day, it's just like it kind of. So now I feel even better.
Hmm.
So okay. I'm proud of myself too, because it was so good. It was like a dessert every morning,
Yeah.
unless I was taking a break.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that again just shows, continually working on finding that balance that works for, you at the time. Like that maybe
Mhm.
the creamer and coffee were like a crutch for you at, going through a certain point, and then you were able to let it go. So, um
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're always evolving and working on finding what works best for us in the moment. And so, yeah, I think that's a great story.
Yeah. I'm so proud of myself, Matt. You have no idea.
Well,
That is
we're
like, because my body got addicted to it to the point where, like, when I would stop drinking it for cleanses or whatever, I would
yep.
get these headaches and stuff. I'm like, wow, it's powerful. It's amazing how powerful caffeine is.
Yeah.
Not powerful in a good way. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like powerful, like how it caused my body to get addicted. Like that's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
drug.
Yeah. It has that same effect. And so I think people kind of latch on. There's studies out there, that people cite that say caffeine is, beneficial, but I mean, how beneficial could something be that causes addiction or causes, dependence, right? If you
That's
get
right.
off of it, you get headaches or, you get jittery.
Right.
So yeah, I think, in my opinion, I'm with you. I think caffeine is probably not the healthiest thing to consume. I think there's
Yeah.
definitely other ways to get energy.
I think there's, speaking of balance, there's like for everything, there's always going to be the naysayers, and then there's always going to be people who have positivity to say. There's
Yeah.
people who promote the raw vegan lifestyle. There's some people who speak bad about it.
Yep.
There's some people who promote the starch solution lifestyle, eating potatoes and rice and everything. Then you have Dr. Aris Latham, who is totally against starches. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Yes.
everything is going to have a good and a bad thing about it, but you have to do what's best for you, because maybe eating starches works for you. Maybe eating raw vegan works for you. You know, it's just whatever works for you, you have to do it, despite what people say. If it works for you, by all means, you know what I mean? So I feel
Yep.
like everything is going to have the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
caffeine. You hear all these people say all these great benefits about it, but then there's all these negative effects, you know? So
Yep.
do what's best for you.
Yep. Totally. All right. Well, this has been amazing. Should we do you have anything else to add before we head into the Q&A session?
Um, I love eating this way. No.
Yeah?
and
Are
I encourage you, if you have the, the desire to do it and you haven't been able to stick, maybe try transitioning into it instead of just trying to go overnight, because
yeah.
sometimes it takes baby steps. So maybe you can start off with one vegan meal a day for 4 weeks. Every day it could be one meal. It doesn't matter if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then after 4 weeks, after you get used to that, add a second vegan meal. Do that for another 4 weeks, and then get used to that, and then add a third. So, or you could do it that way, or you can do it the other way of cutting out things at a time, like all pork and beef at first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, all flesh, pork, beef, fish, and turkey. Cutting out all the flesh first. After 4 weeks, cut out the cheese. After another 4 weeks, cut out the eggs. So you can transition that way to help, you're getting your body used to it a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. Great advice. That's how I did it. That's how I did it 12 plus years ago. So I think transitioning into this lifestyle is very helpful for a lot of people. Some people love to do it overnight, but I think the majority of people will greatly benefit from doing what you just shared.
Yeah, it's a great way. I went overnight because I was desperate for healing, but
yeah,
I probably, if I wasn't desperate for healing, I probably would have transitioned.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, wow. That was great. And I appreciate the conversation and just everything that, you bring to the table and share with everybody. So you are on Instagram and YouTube. Is there anywhere else that I should be linking down below to help
I'm
people
on
find you?
TikTok. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, the same IG handle at plant-based Nicole R'Shae,
Okay.
TikTok and IG. TikTok is weird. They got some weird people on there.
I'm not
yeah,
on
I'm
TikTok, so.
Yeah, and then I'm on YouTube at Nicole R'Shae, or you could just type in Nicole R'Shae Holliday. Yeah, so those are my platforms. I have a regular Instagram page as well, but that doesn't have any plant-based content on it. It's just my lifestyle. That's Nicole R'Shae Holliday. And I'm also on Facebook, which I don't do plant-based content on there either.
Okay.
That's just regular because I created it that way before I even went plant-based. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Had that for years.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't really do much on Facebook either.
Oh yeah. Oh, I do want to make one correction.
Yeah.
I have been eating plant-based for 13 years, but I haven't been influencing for the whole 13 years.
Well, that's debatable because the minute you go plant-based, you start influencing people around you. So that doesn't mean that you just have to influence people online, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. I think you've been influencing people probably even more than that, more than 13 years. But plant-based style, yeah, I think you can use that title.
Oh. I will say, okay, so I just created the Instagram page that you're following like 2 years ago. Okay. Before that, I didn't have that. Okay. I just had my regular lifestyle page, and it was my lifestyle page, but I would post like my food. I wasn't really focused yet, but I would still share my diet, but people didn't care. So that's why my husband told me to create a new page that focuses on that. And then I end up I archived all the posts I posted on my regular page, like all the food stuff. But so I guess, yes, even though I wasn't like heavily focused on influencing, I was still sharing my lifestyle with people back then. So you're right.
See? Yeah. And yeah, I think that was a great decision to make a page dedicated to this. Just because
I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I think it makes people more visible when people have more of a clear idea of what message you're sharing. So yeah, I think that's a good move. Mallory, what's up, Mallory May? Thanks for joining us. So Mallory is the second person that commented. Carl also said that they were in separate rooms. So I think again something may have gotten mixed up. So hopefully people find this chat going on right now, because I don't know. There may, again, I updated something last night in this program that I'm using, and so something must have gotten haywire. But
something got tangled.
Yeah, so some people are gonna have to catch the replay, I guess, and hopefully everybody else was able to find find the chat room. But yeah, welcome Mallory and Carl. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry for the confusion. But yeah, we are just about to head into the Q&A. So let's hop on over to the classroom here. There we go. We are now in the classroom. we're in the Q&A classroom.
That's
So
funny.
yes. So for anybody that didn't catch the beginning, so now we're streaming both to YouTube and into Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, be sure to give Raw Tuition a follow, because we go live now on both YouTube and Twitch. I'm new in the Twitch scene, so but we're going live there every time we go live here. So looks like Carl has a question to start us off here. He says, opinions on organic herbal teas. Is it a good way to get in some varied herbs? Any other ways? You have any opinion
Was
on
that a
that?
question for me?
Yeah, either,
See,
yeah,
I'm not really knowledgeable on the teas. I'm just now starting to drink a lot of tea since I don't drink coffee anymore. Not that it replaces it, but just something to drink.
mm,
And I'm just kind of like drinking teas for taste. So I'm drinking like ginger tea and like a harvest tea. So I don't really know about all the herbal teas. Do you, Matt? Because I'm not really knowledgeable on that.
I was into teas quite a bit earlier on, like several years ago, but I kind of have gotten away from them. I don't really drink many teas anymore. But yeah, I do think it's a good way to get in, some, if you want to get in some different herbs, yeah, definitely give it a try. There's people
Yeah,
on both sides of the fence with teas, because some people, claim that a lot of them are contaminated with heavy metals and pesticides and things. So
yeah,
definitely I would go organic if you're going to do teas, and maybe just do a little. I'm actually not that well researched on which ones are, they claim to be higher in heavy metals and things like that. So maybe just do a search on whatever teas you like and their heavy
yeah.
metal content. But yeah, I honestly I know people that have drank teas for many years and love it. So in my opinion, I think they're probably all right, here and there, and maybe every day. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to do more research on it, but
yeah.
yeah,
But there's lots of teas like at Whole Foods and things
yeah,
like that, or any health store. It's just I just
yep,
don't know what they all do or what they're for.
right, yeah. What is it? Trying to think. The one that Dr. Greger talks about being like the highest antioxidant one. I want to say chamomile, but it's not chamomile.
Oh,
It's a bright pink one. When you make it, it's
right.
bright. I can't think of the name for it.
Raspberry. Never mind.
No, it's raspberry is a good one, I believe, but
Yeah.
no, I can't remember what it is. But I'll think of it. Carl, I'll send you an email. Um, so maybe I'll think of it as we go on here. But
Yeah,
oh,
it'll come to
hibiscus.
you later.
Hibiscus. Thank you, Music Monster Man. Yeah,
Oh,
hibiscus tea.
hibiscus.
Yeah, that's one that I drank a lot back in the day, but I haven't had it for quite a while now.
I think I heard that that's good for menopausal symptoms. Not that you can
It could
relate,
be.
but I
Yeah,
think.
no,
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
yeah. Well, I think I honestly I would say anything that creates good homeostasis, reduces inflammation, benefits your hormones should be beneficial for menopausal issues or anything
Yeah,
else. So yeah.
yeah.
Music Monster Man said Dr. Morse has amazing tea. Yes, that is true. I've used many of
Oh
Dr.
yeah.
Morse's teas, or herbs. So yeah, yep, he's got good ones. Music Monster Man says they're going to stream video games. Yeah, I think Twitch is more of a gamer platform, but
Is it?
I believe so. But I've heard that they do like cooking shows and music and other things like that. So I'm gonna throw it out there on Twitch and see if anything happens, and otherwise
Is it? Is it set up like an Instagram thing where you make posts, or is it like more like a YouTube where you
it's
put big videos?
yeah, it's more like YouTube. I think
Okay.
I think people stream their video games that they play, and things like
Oh,
that.
wow. I
Yeah,
wanna go check that out.
or like I said, music. People play music on there and all sorts of stuff. So maybe we'll play around over there on Raw Intuition and maybe do some cooking shows and things like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Fruit Carl says, I love watching the replays anyways. All right, well, great. Thank you. I hope you
Yeah,
enjoy the
and make
replay.
sure you share it, Carl.
Yeah, yeah. Share it around, share it around. And everybody make sure you go follow and subscribe to Nicole. I got the links in the description box down below.
Yes,
Um,
go follow.
looks like okay. So yeah, it's 500,000 viewers on just chatting right now. So just chatting is like a subsection you can go into where people will just turn on their camera and just chat with people. So yeah,
On Twitch?
yeah, on Twitch. So it's a well traveled, well viewed platform. So
Okay, I'm gonna have to look up Twitch.
yeah, definitely. Uh-oh. Did we lose I can see you on my Zoom. You're fine on Zoom, but this happened last week. It froze. Yeah, you're frozen. And so here. I'm gonna restart my program here. We should be fine. It should just take a second and then you'll be back on.
Okay.
And this shouldn't last time this didn't cut out the stream, so hopefully we don't lose you guys. If it does cut off, just come right back because we're coming right back here in just 10 seconds.